the sad origin story of Bubba Bubbaphant. Bubba Bubbaphant, with his magnificent blue coloring and eyes that twinkled with longing, lived his life for many years in an isolated corner of the zoo that served as a jewel for the city of Starlington. His unique coloring and astounding intelligence made him an outstanding individual even among the other elephants, but despite this singularity, he continued to experience deep loneliness in his vast enclosure. From his earliest childhood, Bubba displayed astonishing talents. He was not just an elephant, but a true connoisseur of literature and art, nurturing dreams of a world beyond the cold steel of his cage. For years now, he had willingly immersed himself in the world of every book his curved trunk managed to reach, dreaming of feeling inspired by new worlds and ideas. One day, as night enveloped the town of Starlington, Bubba Bubbaphant heard the magical sounds of a violin. A girl named Emily, a talented violinist, poured her soul into each note as she showed up at the zoo each day to present the elephant with her music. Emily's melodies penetrated to the very depths of Bubba's soul, filling his heart with indescribable emotions and lifting his soul upward, freeing him from the weight of loneliness. However, as is often the case in life, fate had plans of its own. The Starlington Zoo was facing financial difficulties, and the owners, faced with a difficult choice, decided to sell Bubba Bubbaphant at auction. Emily's heart was torn with grief when she learned of this fate. The last look Bubba and Emily exchanged at the auction was saturated with deep longing and unfathomable sadness. Shortly after the sale of the elephant, Emily stopped showing up at the zoo, unable to bear the pain at the sight of the place where her music used to fill Bubba's heart with light and joy. Bubba Bubbaphant found himself in a new circus where his performances had become devoid of the harmony and inspiration that had accompanied him in his previous life. He still remembered the warmth and magic of the violin's sounds and Emily's bright eyes. But the new reality was cold and devoid of the magic that had once filled his existence. So ends the story of Bubba Bubbaphant, a blue elephant who once knew the joy of the open world and true friendship, but lost everything in a huge circus tent, deprived of Emily's bright eyes and the magical melodies of the violin, the sad origin story of KickinChicken. One special day in Fluffyland, when the first rays of the morning sun illuminated the village, along with the warm rays came a little yellow chicken, who was named KickinChicken directly in the glow of the light. Its bright yellow feathers glistened as if each of its cells contained a piece of rainbow, bringing light to the gray, everyday life of the inhabitants of Furryland. KickinChicken proved to be a real trigger of vivid childhood memories for all the kids in the neighborhood. He was an inexhaustible source of energy and joy. His fun games knew no end, and every moment with him became colorful and memorable. It was as if he was a little ray of sunshine that brought light and warmth to all of Furryland. But as time went on, KickinChicken began to notice that his bright feathers were fading, as if the light was going out in them. The brightness of their color was gradually fading away, like paint being carried away by the wind. Everyone in the village noticed the change in his appearance, but no one understood what was happening to him. With each coming day, KickinChicken became less and less active and cheerful. His games lost their former cheerfulness, and his wings, once strong and sturdy, began to weaken. He could often be seen hiding in secluded corners, avoiding attention. Friends and neighbors felt concerned for him, but KickinChicken preferred to keep quiet about his suffering, as if not wanting to disturb those around him. One evening, as the sky shrouded the village in dark clouds, KickinChicken quietly took to the air and headed deep into the forest, leaving a farewell letter to his friends. In the lines, he shared that his brightness and joy were fading, and he decided to travel to find a way to regain his lost energy. Days in the village became even dimmer without KickinChicken. Friends and neighbors searched tirelessly for traces of him, but it seemed that the little chicken disappeared with the last ray of light. The people of Fluffy Edge remembered the cheerful yellow chicken who brought light into their gray everyday lives, but who never disappeared into the darkness. Their hearts remained filled with sadness and hope that KickinChicken, somewhere deep in the forest, would find his way to happiness, and their days would once again be filled with bright colors of cheerfulness. The sad origin story of Hoppy Hopscotch. In a quiet village, among winding hills and sprawling meadows, a little rabbit, given to the world by the name of Hoppy Hopscotch, found her existence. Even from the very first steps of her life, she was imbued with enthusiasm and inexhaustible energy. Hoppy was like a fiery flash, and her heart beat in unison with the rhythm of a soccer ball. From the first glance, it was clear that Hoppy was designed for movement and activity. She knew no rest, always striving for new, exciting adventures. However, her real passion was soccer. From the first touch of the ball, Hoppy felt that this was her calling, that she was born for this exciting game. Every day, under the light of the rising sun, Hoppy would take to the soccer field in the village. Her friends knew that this was their energetic friend, and together they created unique moments on the field. The soccer matches turned into a real celebration for the whole village. However, as it happens in life, fate decided to test Hoppy resilience. One evening, when the sun was already hidden behind the horizon, a mystical darkness descended on the village. All the inhabitants were dumbfounded, not realizing what was happening. And at that moment, Hoppy decided to take up the challenge and go out on the field, even in this darkness. However, an incredible turn of events awaited her on the soccer field. During the game, when she was directing the ball towards the goal with real skill, a wolf jumped out of the dark mist. Despite its intimidating appearance, it was swift and agile. In an instant, the wolf approached Hoppy and only moments later stole her precious soccer ball. That moment was the point of no return for Hoppy. She had lost her main passion, her inspiring source of joy. Soccer was no longer what it used to be for her. Every time she walked past the soccer field where she once glowed with energy and joy, her heart was filled with the shadow of loss. Her Hoppy friends tried to support her, but she couldn't return to her former passion. Soccer became an obsession of lost fun and carefree spirit. Hoppy Hopscotch, once a veritable whirlwind of energy and full of life, became a bird bereft of her wings. So ended the story of a little rabbit whose life was turned upside down by an unexpected twist of fate. The sad origin story of CatNap. In the depths of a mysterious and remote town, where every shadow seemed to hold inscrutable riddles, a cat named CatNap ruled. His silky fur and gentle eyes wove a dwelling of comfort, not only for those who dared to cross the threshold of his humble cottage, but also for the city itself, shaky in a pool of its own secrets and treasures, hiding in the gloom. At the beginning of his story, CatNap was the epitome of kindness and cheerfulness. His little house was a warm welcome to anyone in need of peace and a smile. However, as time stretched on, something mysterious began to unravel in CatNap's soul. The eyes that had once sparkled with joy now dimmed, an unrelenting cold shadow looming in them, reflecting the changes within him. Cat's friends couldn't help but notice how he became increasingly aloof, preferring solitude to his usual company. Time spent alone seemed to be an inevitable path for him, and the mystery of his changes became more and more mysterious. It soon became clear that something supernatural had happened to CatNap. His breathing, which had once been regular, now became inhumanly slow and heavy. Attempts by the friends to move closer for support or to find out the cause of this change in an indiscreet moment ended with them inhaling CatNap's strange breath. With each inhalation, the friends felt the drowsiness weaving its way into their consciousness. At first, it was only light moments of drowsiness, but gradually they fell into deeper and deeper sleep. CatNap seemed not to realize that his breath had acquired such mystical power. CatNap's friends, one by one, became prisoners of the thick webs of sleep, drifting off into a world ruled by merciless slumber. Alone in his empty house, CatNap could not understand why all his loved ones had disappeared from his life. Undeniable secrets lingered in his eyes, and inside, his breath continued to carry with it a curse, turning every approach into a last encounter with the bottomless dream.